because I thought y'all were in trouble. I thought Apex was going out of business. I keep hearing that Apex is having financial troubles and can't pay. So how are you paying more and early and fast? And it was like, we never said any of that.
Do you believe that this current model, the one that you have staffed up for and are going to maintain, at least for now, with 1 day to pass or unlimited accounts or up to 20 accounts, is like a reflection truly of finding trading talent?
Prepared, or we never expected the level of different fraud schemes and things that are out there. And like people exploded about it. Oh my God, are you just trying to wait till the last minute and try to find a way to not pay us? No, I'm actually trying to find a way to pay you.
Hey there, speculators. Rod, your futures fanatic. Welcome back to the channel. As you see in the lead into this, I spoke with John Skelton, the COO and co-founder of Apex, in sort of a exclusive for now sit-down interview, well, done virtually, where we talked for over 2 hours about everything that happened over the summer, his thoughts on regulation upcoming, and a variety of other topics that I think you're going to dig. It was a fantastic conversation. I know because it's Apex, this is going to be very polarizing. We're going to leave the comments on, say whatever you would like. You can disagree, agree. Many people might feel I was a little overly sympathetic. That's probably because we only got into really about 10 to 20% of really what went down at Apex in terms of some of the fraudulent activity and the attacks on the firm. It was tough for me to watch and stay silent for a long time, so we'll let John do the speaking for himself and for the firm. I know you're really going to enjoy this conversation. It is quite long, so I've left timestamps down below that you can check to jump to the parts of the conversation that might be of most interest to you. Let's get into it. I'm pretty excited about what we're going to get going here today because I'm talking to John Skelton from Apex Trader Funding. And as I will have said in the lead in, I've known John for a while, both personally and professionally. And I am a large affiliate of Apex. So we're going to leave the comments on. We'll get that all out of the way in the intro, but I just wanted to let everyone know this set the record straight kind of conversation. Let's go ahead and get into it. John, thanks for joining us here on the Futures Fanatic channel.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, man. It's been too long.
Yeah.
Missed the old days getting out to Vegas for the shows, being able to see you in person, hang out.
Anytime. Let's just start off by, I think a lot of people that are familiar with Apex will know who you are, if not have spoken to you personally, but I think Daryl has always been the face of the company. So maybe we just start off with you briefly explain your role and if it's changed at all over time.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, I've actually been with Daryl for going on 14 years now. We had a trading community years ago, and I worked with him there side by side with him. And then with Apex Trader Funding, my role has always been head of operations and COO. Daryl, as CEO, has been a lot more of the public facing with being active on social media or some of the interviews. And I've been more involved in the operations. Sometimes that has required Daryl being a good cop, nice guy publicly, and I'm bad cop that's got to enforce some things, which is not always
good thing you have a lot of guns.
Yeah, exactly.
You're a good bad cop.
That's right. I'm a big gun guy, John Wick fan.
Yeah.
But I'm actually a pretty nice guy. I'm pretty laid back at times. That is part of my job there, is enforcing some rules and trying to get keep the trains on time and operational. I've done a lot of training, and you guys have probably heard me on a lot of videos over the years and some of the webinars. That's my role there, and taking a much more active role this year and this summer as well, with trying to restructure a lot of things, revamp a lot of systems, add a lot of new things in, create some efficiencies that we'll talk about. Some of you, I'm sure, have seen all over as well too. Been a busy few months for me. Busy few years, but especially busy few months.
We got to remember, you guys were founded, what, August of 21, right?
Yep.
Maybe.
Yeah, we launched September of 21. So we just passed our 3-year anniversary like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, so we could probably talk for hours. That's how much history has already happened. I imagine that your team's grown so quickly that is this kind of the largest team you've ever led? That's an adjustment period too, right? And you're hiring like crazy. And
I'll be honest, that has been a very new experience. When we had our trading community, you guys know how those are. Any of you that you've got your community or some of these other people have these communities they're a part of, and they're a real close-knit family group. And that's how our trading community was. We had me, Daryl, and 3 or 4 people, and it was tight. It was close, and we all handled everything. And when we first started Apex Trader Funding, our intent, this story, Rod, but we were a group of traders. We had an education community. And we saw the need for these traders. They're trying to be members of our play. They're trying to learn to trade, but then they would over time give up because they didn't have money to go open an account. And so we were like, hey, we need to go out there and check out these trader funding things and see if they're good, legit, so we can let our people know about these and give them a way to get some funding and keep them with us in our community long term. We had no intent to ever get involved in the funding business. We were just trying to help our traders out.
Yeah.
And as we got out there at the time, there was only a handful of companies out there. And Daryl and I went out there and tried them. And even me and Daryl Martin, the guru trader, award-winning, contest-winning trader, we couldn't even pass these tests. We couldn't even pass these evaluations to get funding ourselves. And it was like, okay, this was very clear that these certain companies were not about funding. They were just about fees. Like, it was literally impossible. But we did find a company that was like, okay, they did pay out, they had some good reputation. And that was our whole intent there. But then we were like, look, we don't like some of these rules. This should be easier for traders. This shouldn't be so hard. This shouldn't take so long. So we opened Apex Trader Funding, mainly to have that company for our group and a couple of groups we were familiar with. So we started the whole company with 5 of us. It was the same little family.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then within a month, okay, we need more people, And we just kept growing from there. And I'd like to talk a little bit more about some of our growth over the last year and a couple of points of explosive growth that caught us off guard and we weren't able to keep up with, honestly. And I've talked to y'all about that a few months ago when some of these issues happened. But over the summer, we have doubled our staff just since May.
Wow. Yeah.
We are at 100, and I got the update a few days ago, right before the payroll run on the 30th. 108.
Wow.
108 is our staff. We started with 5.
Wow. And we'll get into the conversation that you've had to wean that and change that, as all fast growing businesses do when they try to establish a culture. And I don't know if anyone's ever run a business. I've run business for 20 years. It's hard to find good people. It's hard to find competent people, good people, loyal people, all these kinds of things.
Yeah, it is. And you also get into the whole thing of a small business where you've got people that are involved in every aspect of the business. You're having to do the front end, the back end, the accounting end, the this end. You're used to being in all of it, but you get to a certain point in size where you really have to take on that more corporate look and have good high-end people running departments and team. And that takes some structure and that takes some time. And it's not a quick thing to do.
Yeah, definitely different than the cottage industry where you started and how I've run my businesses. All right, let's get into it. This is what everyone's going to want to know. What the F happened at Apex over the summer?
Nothing happened. Everything's great.
Yeah.
Perfect. Smooth sailing, been an easy summer. Yeah, it's been a very interesting few months here, and got to walk you through some things here. It's like the true definition of a snowball effect. What happened was, honestly, my story there, and somebody asked me about that the other day. I got several calls just in the last, say, 2 weeks from some customers. One was a YouTuber influencer guy that had been with us before and dropped off, and he called going, man, what's going on over there recently? Like, these payouts are coming left and right, and all these huge payouts, and requesting early in the day and getting approved an hour later, and the money's being sent out that day, and they're getting in their account the next day. Like, for weeks and weeks now, y'all been paying so fast. It's blowing up social media. How are you doing that? Because
a portion of those payouts, as we'll discuss, went to bad actors, which is unfortunate.
They did.
So that's in the pool too.
Yep.
But you cannot deny the numbers. The numbers are cold, hard data. And I think ultimately, everybody that's involved in these types of businesses, that should be the number one metric that's important. I know it's what you guys emphasize and what you've been known for. But so anyway, leave your comments down below, but those are just facts. So
and I don't say any of that to show off or be cocky or say, we were already running a huge business, the biggest in the industry, and we doubled in like 60 to 90 days. We did not see that coming. We had no idea what was about to happen, just because we made a few more things easier, made the one day to pass. we did not see it coming. So when you're already running that kind of huge business and then it doubles out of nowhere,
well, you put some no, not out of nowhere. You put some gasoline on the fire, and maybe you just didn't know how big the flame was going to get.
Yeah, it didn't come out of nowhere. We just had no idea that.
Yeah.
Okay, hey, people are complaining that they have to waste all these days clicking in orders, capacity eval. Right. Hey, can you speed it up for it? Hey, sure, man, no problem. We just thought that helped. We had no idea that would double the business. You know, that and a couple other things. And so we got caught with our pants down. It hit us out of nowhere. It hit us. We were unprepared for it. And that was our fault. That was our weakness. That was our downfall. We weren't prepared for it. And
real quick, John, when you say you weren't prepared, were you not prepared for the sheer volume of people coming on to Rhythmic and the support tickets, or what resulted also was that you attracted maybe a cohort? Again, we're going to get into the fraudulent behavior later, but you attracted a cohort of maybe some really good traders that were starting to put up some quick numbers more quickly than before because you changed that policy. Is it all of those, or what was the thing you were most unprepared for?
No, it wasn't so much that we were unprepared for good traders that put up big numbers, because we were able to handle that. It was the fact of staff, because when you double your business like that, you've got potentially, you've got twice the load on Trade-Evade, you got twice the load on Rhythmic, you got twice the load on your help desk, you got twice the load of having to keep up with monitoring social media. But you also got twice the load on the payout team. When you've got a payout dates that come in, the 1st through the 5th of the month and the 15th through 20th of the month, and you're used to each payout period, X amount of payout requests come in, and then all of a sudden those double, but you didn't double your staff to handle them. It takes a little longer, right? Things get delayed. And it's not, we'll go hire someone tomorrow and get them in there on Friday. You got to have the right kind of person that knows our system, knows the back end, understands trading, understands how to look over some trading history to say this is good. It's not like you throw someone overnight. So we also did bring on some new big influencers and affiliates and followers. There's a lot of things that.
You mean there are people that have a bigger YouTube presence than me? Come on.
No, we don't need to.
All right.
We don't need to talk about that.
It's the size of your audience.
Hey, size doesn't matter.
Exactly. Okay.
It's quality over quantity. But
that's right. Exactly.
But that was another key to it. Yes, a few of the changes we made, the one day to pass, and then some big new influencers. We had a lot of. We did not project the growth compared to our staffing needs. So that.
Why did you keep the sales open then? If you got overwhelmed, if you could do it all again, it's always easy in hindsight. And I know all this happened very quickly. But you saw all this, you didn't see the wave coming, then the wave hits you, then you keep all the sales going, you keep all the policies. I know it's hard to pull away, but if you could have done this last 6 months differently, would you have considered not taking on additional business when you were already overwhelmed?
So about the sales, and this is part of kind of the big kicker in the story. So as this growth is happening, and as we're bringing on new people, I see our payouts jumping like a lot, like from 8, 9, 10 million a month to 12 to 20 to 30 to what's going on? And I'm seeing these payouts and we're going through them and I'm like, man, we've got some people that are doing really good suddenly. Like, where's all this coming from? Like, we've got some good people here. There's a lot of payouts. But I remember looking at these, and I would say it every payout session to the team. I'm like, something's not right here. Something doesn't feel right when I look at these guys. Something's not right, but I couldn't figure it out. And look, here's the thing, Rod. I'm still to this day shocked. And here was one of the biggest things we were not prepared for, that I got caught with my pants down. When we started this business, we wanted this to be a business by traders for traders. And you hear that all the time, like some marketing thing. But this was
we'll get into more of that because I think there's a lot of skepticism about that. But
whatever. That's why we made it so easy. And okay, we loosen up this rule, loosen up this rule, loosen up this rule, to make it actually a real opportunity and a real path for somebody, basic Joe, somebody, not somebody that had to been a previous floor trader. What I never saw coming was that I never knew there was so much. Yes, some of it was, and you and I've talked about this before, saying something's a scam. Okay, there's a difference of a scam and a scheme. And then there's people just working and abusing the system.
Right.
And there's people that are just straight gambler. Like, you
Yeah.
can't lump them all into one. So when I say that, I don't want to take anybody taking that wrong. We never saw some of this coming, and we never even knew it existed. We never thought about the fact that making some of these rules easier or faster would attract so much of this. And the little bit of it we had seen was individual traders here and there, or small little groups. We never experienced it at a multiple level. Hey, I've figured out how to work the system here. I've figured out how to take advantage of these prop funds, and I'm making all this money, and I'm getting all these payouts over and over again. You know what? I bet I could go online and start a channel and get people to pay me a fee, and I teach them how to do it and make even more money. So and we didn't even know about some of these things. In fact, everybody remembers May 15th, 2024, when I had to announce rule enforcements. Oh boy, that was D-Day. That was Apex D-Day. Everybody remembers that. Hey, we talked about risk management and dollar cost average. Everybody remembers that. Where did that come from? We actually were notified of most of those because I knew something wasn't right here. But it was actually from the public, from our group, that we got notified of a lot of these things because they actually complained about it. Hey, Apex has these rules. We don't really hear much about them, but there's this whole group over here doing these things. And there's an Apex affiliate teaching these things on YouTube to all these people. But I guess Apex doesn't crack down on him because they pay him and he brings in traffic so he can do whatever he wants. We're like, wait, what are you talking about? Like, we had no clue. We can't. I don't sit here all day watching your YouTube all day.
I can't imagine why. If you did, all you'd hear is that the only way to trade these programs properly is using micros, and that's not very exciting. And they're not structured exactly the way I would like them to be structured, but there's still great learning opportunities. And let's use the leverage in the accounts that are provided instead of the leverage per account, and we're going to trade micros. That's not as sexy as some of the other guys that are throwing around big ass numbers.
It's not as sexy, but what you just said right there in those last 30 seconds, you and I could talk every day for 30 days about, because that is the problem in this industry and with traders, and the reason why traders fail. Mm-hmm. And I can show you stats and numbers at Apex of who is the most successful, and it would shock you because it's not sexy and it's doing basically what you just said. Yeah. And it's, man, I could go off on that. But anyway, so no, I don't keep up with all these guys all day watching hours of YouTube. And so people are reporting some of this stuff and say, I guess they get away with it because they're a paid affiliate. I don't care if you're a paid affiliate or not. If you're breaking the rules and then you're teaching other people to do it. And so that started to explain why some of this hit us so hard. And then we realized how deep it was, because it wasn't one trader over here or these three buddies over here. There was groups that, and I'm talking about some of these guys having 5,000 live people watching them in the mornings, live do this. So guess what? They're doing it too. And so we had to start really doing some digging and understanding. And there was 2 or 3 different things out there that we started discovering of, there's these 2 or 3 different things. And I was like, that is what I've been seeing. I see these numbers I've known for a couple of months. Something's not right here. Because I started noticing, I'm like, wait a minute. How is this person making so much and having these big days? I showed this literally in those 4.5 hours of videos. I literally spent 4.5 hours making videos. People wanted to know about this. I walked them through everything. It's fully transparent. And I was like, how are these people making so much money suddenly? Because most new traders, you've seen it, they're up, they're down, they fail. They're like these people had straight equity curves with big days, no losers. But then I looked and I'm like, wait a minute. Their PA number, they're on number 400 PA.
Right.
If they're this good of a trader, how did they blow the other 399? Something's not right here. And then you look back a couple of days later and they blew that one.
It's burn one. It was burn one, earn one at huge scale, at all kinds of scales that you couldn't couldn't have accounted for.
It was burn one and earn one.
Yeah.
It was risk management. It was, hey, think about it. And I addressed this too in all those videos. Like a 50K account with us.
Yeah.
You start off with a $2,500 drawdown. Okay. If we do an 80% off sale, that account costs you $34. So really, you got $34 in exchange for $2,500 of risk.
Yeah.
Then why use a stop? Your stop is the account.
Mm-hmm.
You just go on and just go all in. Hopefully it doesn't go 2,500 against you. It goes way up here. And so it became those type of situations that were being taught to do that and just blow through and blow through. And we would get a lot of pressure like, hey, we need another sale. Hey, we need another. Okay, I guess these people really like it. Hey, I need to get more. And then, so anyway, we dig into this. We realize how widespread it is and realize how hard it was hitting us. And we could talk a little more about this later. I know it's a sensitive subject. DCA, dollar cost averaging. That was a huge thing that from day one of Apex, dollar cost averaging had always been in our PA contract is don't dollar cost average. But that was all it said. There wasn't paragraphs and paragraphs explaining it and why not and the risks behind it. So it was not anything new. It was a rule that had always been there. We just had never really had to worry about enforcing it until suddenly we uncover that it's being promoted and spread to thousands and thousands everywhere. Now,
real quick, I just want to interrupt because I get it. And we're going to go into this in more detail. And I know that most of the audience will understand the minutia of this, but I just want to, for context, for maybe somebody who's just, what is this entire conversation about?
Yeah.
But DCA is dollar cost averaging. And dollar cost averaging in and of itself, if it's an investment, is great. That's what you should do. Put a little bit of money in all the time, every month. DCA is probably the greatest trading strategy ever, or investment strategy. But when it comes to trading, John's mentioning that you pay $35 for $2,500 worth of risk capital. You can just add and add and add until it either reverses or you blow up. It doesn't really matter. There's no ramifications to it. But I guess when it comes to that policy or anything else that we'll discuss, also in those funding agreements, you have the right to just identify those people and get them out of your organization. Why on D-Day did you guys decide that instead of doing that, you're just going to communicate to your entire customer base that this previously dormant thing is now going to have to be enforced when you already identified the part of your business that you need to address?
Mm-hmm.
And for all of us, including us little micro traders who might add 1, 2, or 3 micros, and then on that third one, are we breaking the rules? Now we're in a 3 micro lot, and is John not going to pay us?
Yeah,
it's big money. Yeah, that's honestly how my 400-person community trades. People were asking me, can I add 1 more micro here at a set level in a strategy? So I guess what I'm asking is, I know things were moving super quick. But once you knew who the bad actors were, why did you decide to then impose this policies across your entire company and kind of create this mayhem or questions? Sure. Yeah.
A couple things there. There was most definitely these larger groups and these YouTube channels and whatever that was teaching it, spreading it within their groups. But it had also just started to spread everywhere. It was, I'd say it was an 80-20. 80% of the problem was identifiable in these groups, and it started there. But it had spread as well. And it was getting more and more prevalent to where it was like, okay, we can't just go shut down these guys and say, okay, no more of you. We had to get it out there of, okay, this has to stop. This is a big deal. We had to make a policy of, all right, we have to enforce what's already here.
Okay.
But now, this was a big threat. This was a big problem. It was a big issue. And that we did have to make a public stance about it and say, hey, guys, this has always been in here. This has always been part of always been a rule. And we're going to have to start enforcing it. It was never a big deal before. And people were like, that's not fair. I've always gotten away with it in the past. Why can't I keep getting away with this? This has got out of hand. We have to control it. We also never realized it was a problem in the past before. We also didn't have the staff before to monitor so closely and to dig in. We were never prepared, or we never expected the level of different fraud and schemes and things that are out there. And not just from an individual level, but yes, from an influencer level, but from literal, and I think you and I have even had some conversation about this, Rod, like literal just scam groups. Like they're there to specifically run these scams. It's crazy. And I had no clue these existed. And we just got word of all this at once, like about 3 huge different groups of other literal straight up credit card fraud stuff. And the whole, I covered this a lot too, the copy trading. It's like within Apex, you can have up to 20 accounts and you can use a copier. So you're trading one account, it copies on all 20. That's great. We promote that for a reason. But there's these trading services that you just connect your account to ours and we'll just trade it for you. And that there was literally thousands of people on these things. And that's not the point of funding. The point of funding is, I tell everybody, put yourself, just think, you got 100 grand sitting in the bank and you're like, I think I want to take this 100 grand and I want to invest it in a trader. I want to back a trader. So I want to see, hey, let's do some stuff in demo and evaluate and then a live demo. And can you do this and be consistent? And okay, I'll pay you a little bit. You can, great. Let's put you into live. Here's my money, go. But if I'm going to put my money behind you ultimately, or if I'm evaluating you to see if long-term I can put you into live, that doesn't do any good when you're not the one trading it. You're actually letting someone else trade it.
So we talked about DCA briefly.
Yeah.
This other thing of, hey, send us a video.
Yep.
I think a lot of people thought that was like a validation kind of thing. Really, it's just to show that there are people that don't even know how to turn on NinjaTrader or do anything. And you could at least catch some people with their pants down that way. And here's to my audience. Again, this is not meant to, we'll keep the comments open. You can disagree with John and I all you want. This is me speaking here now.
Right.
Okay. Is that given everything he said, the scale of the business, how fast it's moving, and I've even asked the question, you have to go into triage sometimes and just put it across. So essentially, if you're fishing for tuna, a bunch of killer whales are getting caught in the net and all kinds of jellyfish and all types of other stuff. And you're just trying to sort through all the mess. When it comes to those videos, I just look at it all different, John. Like I didn't understand the big deal about a lot of this, but people are way more sensitive maybe than I am.
Right.
I was like, so what? Just film yourself. And if you even have Ninja up properly and push a few buttons, you're going to pass. It's not to try to catch you up or delay anything. It's because there's thousands and thousands of people that aren't trading at all. And the video can expose that, right?
Yeah. And
I'll let you answer why you ask people to send in videos.
It's gotten way blown out of proportion. Huge deal. And you know what? I know everybody's on different kind of social medias, but just go hop on Apex Trader Funding's Facebook group and go back like a month. Because I don't think we've even sent a video request thing in a month, like since the end of August. And it was like right towards the end of the month of August. And we sent out a pretty big one. I think it was like a couple hundred people. And like people exploded about it. Oh my God, are you just trying to wait till the last minute and try to find a way to not pay us? No, I'm actually trying to find a way to pay you because I work with Tradeovate and we now have certain data that comes to us that we have a new software database engineer that works for us. And so, that's the whole thing. You sign up and you attach your account to these people trading it. And I showed a few months back how the software companies have even gotten involved in this now. Because in the past, if we ever expected something of this, we'd ask you, hey, send in your trade logs. Because inside the NinjaTrader log, it would show us if there was an auto trader or a connection. So the software companies, I showed it, have now gotten in on this and are teaching people a way to how to hide those from us and how to delete those logs before you have to send them in to us. But there was some new information and reports that TradeAway was able to help us with too, that can identify the command of what started this whole chain that has a common tag to it. And then compare it to, okay, that common tag is here, started here, and then went to these other 300 accounts, which happened to also enter the same trade at the same second on the same instrument and exit them as well, day after day after day. Here's your report. So yeah, that's why several hundred of those went out at one time.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, oh, you're just trying to find a way to not pay us. Why? Because I don't like the lighting in your video, or you're trading with your left hand and I don't left-handed people. No, it was like, hey, is it you trading, not someone else? And I'll tell you, it would surprise you how many people
sending videos that clearly incriminated them, right?
Yeah. Or have you ever sent, like, you're trying to send an attachment, or like even a text, like you're trying to attach a picture to a text and send it, and you're like, oh crap, I attached the wrong picture. I can't tell you how many people did that, because I guess whatever video thing they're using, they'd save a file. Oh, stop that. No, I need to redo the video. But it saves over in their video file. So they go to email us. They sent us the wrong one.
Oh, wow.
I'm telling you, I'm talking people that don't even know how to open the charts, or saying, oh yeah, my strategy is when these things happen, we'll wait and enter a trade. And you see something pop up on the screen that says remote connection started. And then you hear, bam, order entered, bam, order. This auto trader is just going off.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's it. That's all it was. But yeah.
Okay. I think, yeah, that's clear on that. How about, since we're on the topic, some other things that have been pulled into this tuna net that maybe, you want to try to fix once the dust settles here a little bit. Yeah. Talk to me a little bit about treasuries. What happened there, and can we bring them back to the right people, or a cohort of the right people, or what are your plans now that we've identified a lot of the issues in what the F happened over the summer, and you've righted the payment portion for a good part? How about products and some of these other things?
Yes. Can we come back to that?
Yeah, we can. Okay.
I do want to address that. I want to go back, because there's a couple things I want to say. Because as far as what happened over the summer, that's only 20% of it. Okay. Let me just give you the real story here, or the rest of the story here. But I also want to say this. Did a lot of this start due to, these scams, these schemes, whatever? Yeah, absolutely. When you make the rules so easy, and then all of a sudden you go one day to pass where it makes it quick, you attract all this. And we did. We brought some of this on ourselves, not knowingly, had no idea. We were just trying to make it easier and easier for the traders, faster for the traders, without realizing this whole left flank over here was unprotected, that this could come in. So we did cause some of this. 110. You make it so easy, you're going to attract bad stuff. Okay. I'm going to take responsibility for that. I'm also going to take responsibility for the fact that I should have seen that coming and I didn't. I'm also going to take responsibility for the fact of, I didn't have a crystal ball. I had no way of knowing Apex was going to grow as fast and quick as it did. But that's our bad for being unprepared, for being understaffed. That's why we've literally doubled our staff since May, when all this went down. And that's why internally we have, a corporate policy right now that's in our HR department, and our chief of staff is heading that up, of 30% overage in each department of staff. We can find things to keep them busy when they're not busy. But as soon as something happens or unexpected growth happens, I want the people there. As soon as I need people in other departments, I want them trained. They all start through the customer support department to be familiar with our systems, and we take them from there. Or what if there's and thankfully, there was a little glitch, I think, today that had something to do with Rhythmic's data thing. It was a Rhythmic thing. But otherwise, there's been no big Rhythmic outages in months now. Everything's stable. We've worked hard for that. But if there's a day where it's not, I want extra staff available. That was us. We got caught with our pants down, exposed to weakness that I don't plan to ever let happen again. That was on us. And did our customers suffer because of that? They did. And you have my apologies for that. I take full responsibility for that. Was our support staff at the time overwhelmed, not being able to keep up, getting yelled at all day of like, why are you behind? Why are you behind? They were, lost their cool. I lost my own cool at times. They didn't handle things well, didn't handle things professionally. People were not treated properly. Customers were not treated properly. They were not responded to professionally. There's a difference in, I would say there's a difference in response versus reaction, responding versus reacting.
Mm-hmm.
Had we been prepared, knew some of these things, staffed for it, had systems in place and monitors in place, and then something comes up, then we can appropriately respond to it. But when you don't, you react. So remember when you're a kid in school and you had to do the fire drills? So everybody knew where to line up, knew where to go.
Yeah.
So when a fire happens, everybody knows what to do. Imagine a school not doing fire drills and a fire's there and trying to round up all those crazy kids and figure out what to do. You'd freak out. That was us. We handled this wrong. We got hit. We got hit big, unexpected. We didn't handle it well. We didn't respond well. Overreacted, probably. Or not probably. Overreacted to things. Had to take it to an extreme to shut it down and get it under control, which took a lot of people by surprise, which shocked a lot of people, concerned a lot of people, did affect people like your group who's, hey, we're not going all in 37 full size track with no stops on DCA. We're just trying to do micros. Hey, this is a set rule. I'm going to fix that for you guys, by the way. We're going to change that. DCA is going to be able to come back in the right way because there's a right place for it. It's not a scam place for it. Problem there was I enter a trade. It's going down. Oh, there's another one, and there's another one, and there's another one. And hopefully, before I blow the account, it comes back up, makes me some money. If it doesn't, just replace the account. That's not trading. That's not following any risk management rule. Try that in your live account for a while, and then come back and tell me we should allow it. Your live account, and you blow 50 grand, you don't get to just replace it for nothing. Treat it right. But the point is, I'm not going to sit here and play the blame game all day. There's things to blame. There were problems. There were issues. But we have to take responsibility too. We didn't handle it well. Okay. But I want to explain a couple of things. So December to February, doubled in size, didn't double staff. Started to. Then here comes April. And all these scams we're uncovering. And oh my gosh, wow, this is crazy. So we already went from, let's just say, for the payout, let's talk about PA payouts. Okay. So the PA payout department, let's say that we had 5,000 payout requests that came in every month. And we had a staff of 4 people handling those. All of a sudden, your business doubles. So now 5,000 becomes 10,000. But it takes a little time to get people trained up, right? But then all of a sudden, a month later, you discover this huge slew of scam schemes, whatever you want to call it. So now when you've got 4 people used to handling 5,000, that now have to handle 10,000 because you doubled, then now all of a sudden, those 10,000, you got to go through with a fine-tooth comb. Well, guess what?
Yeah, because the cohort of new traders to payouts was not linear. It wasn't consistent because you got hit with all this stuff.
Right. Yeah. So when you're used to
there's really no way to adapt to that than to just shut it all down and go through it with a sieve. There's nothing else you can do.
And when you've got a set time of, 15th through the 20th, people can request.
Yeah.
By the 30th, we got to have it done. Oh, hey, before y'all were done by the 22nd, 23rd. Now suddenly it's taken to the very end. Delay, payout delays. Apex is in trouble. Apex has financial trouble. They can't pay it. No, guys, we went from having 5,000 deal with to 10, and And then all of a sudden we discover there's so many schemes going on. We can't just do a quick checklist and approve anymore. We got to dig in trade by trade and find these schemers, and things were delayed. That's why there was no secret society, Illuminati behind it, some conspiracy theory, and Apex is in trouble. Crap doubled. And then we realized there was all these schemes. Come May, I announce it like, hey, we've got to crack down on this. We've got to enforce these rules. But you remember the other thing I did in May? I put out this poll about, hey, in a few weeks, I want to change some things. I want to change our program up, change these rules a little bit up. I want to be able to make it easier for you good traders and crack down harder on these schemers. Remember, that was my whole big thing. And I did this whole poll and everything about it.
Yeah.
And talked about, hey, I either have to enforce harder rules across the board for you all, which I don't want to do, or I need everybody to agree and vote on, make it easier for us, crack down a little harder on these guys. And I said, okay, that's what I want too, but I need your guys' help. Like, you see somebody online complaining about it, call them out. Don't fall for it. That was the plan immediately, like by the end of May. Do you remember what happened at the end of May to Rhythmic? For 14, so back up. During this time, we had a 90% off sale. Now, we don't do 90% offs a whole lot. Normally when we do them, it's just like for a handful of days. You've never seen me do them extended long-term. They blow us up. They tie up our system. Okay. The 50K account's our most popular account. 80% off, it's $34. At 90% off, it's $16. It's half the price.
Yep.
So we're in the middle of a 90% off sale. Bam, Rhythmic goes down. It's down half the day. On the last day of the sale. So what do you think happens? We didn't get to take advantage of it because of Rhythmic. I need you to extend it. Okay, guys, I extend it for a day. What happens for the next 14 days straight with Rhythmic? And they couldn't get their crap together. So this 90% off sale that I normally only do a few days turned into almost 3.5 weeks. So doubled our business, unprepared, no staff. Then realized you got all these scams you got to go through in the short period of time. Then because of this problem with Rhythmic, that many evaluation accounts out there at 90% off, and all of those accounts, what do you think they turned into a few weeks later? PAs. Doubled our PA number again. In the middle of all that snowball drama I just explained, that doubled our PAs again. So now I got 20,000 requests coming in with all this. I said it from day one when all of this went down. We weren't expecting to get hit with all these scams. We did not have the staff and systems in place to handle it. That's what caused this. We are going to work on it and fix it. It just took some time to do that. So were payouts delayed? Yeah. Or how many times did you hear Apex waited till like almost the very last day of the month to approve or deny me? They're just trying to push this off as long as they can because they can't afford to pay it. It had nothing to do with that. We just went from this to this with problems. And it was a matter of trying to keep up. But I said from day one what the problem was and that we were going to work to fix it, hire more staff, have better systems. And I wish I could have done that overnight, but that doesn't happen overnight. That took us a few months to do and to work through this. And people say Apex is terrible at communication. Y'all should have communicated better. 100% I'll take blame for that too. Yeah, we did not communicate well. We did not communicate properly. We did not communicate enough. Now, on one side, there's only so many times I can say, guys, we're working on it. You know what I mean? But and no matter what you say, though, there's going to be someone that doesn't believe it, or someone that's, It's funny because the same people that were out there complaining, oh, Apex is letting this influencer in his group do all these things because they're an influencer and he pays them. And no. But then how many times have you heard this? Apex must be in trouble because they just did a mass crackdown. They did a mass denial of payouts because they don't have any money and they must not be able to pay us. And then you'll see people say, where are all these denials at? Oh, in this group, my friend knows this Discord group, and just in that group alone, like half of those people in there got denied. They were all talking about it. Okay. Think about that for a minute. You guys get mad and report whole groups teaching something and yell at Apex saying you're letting them get away with it because they bring you business. What group? I don't know about this. I don't know about every damn Discord group out there. They get reported to us. We dig into them, find out and research it. Bam. So you really think Apex was just approving payouts all month and then get to the end and, oh, we're out of money. Let's just press deny on whatever's left on this list. And it just happened to be everybody in that one random Discord group. Guys, come on. That's just dumb. That's just conspiracy theory and competitors spreading rumors. There's a reason when you see mass denials and all talked about in this main one group. That's why, because you same people complaining just reported that group to us.
Yeah.
No matter what, but anyway.
We can blame it on Sergey and Google and stuff too. And the whole way social media is set up is to try to amplify minority voices sometimes. And then the most sensational things get the most amount of publicity. And there are so many people that have got into, I don't even want to use the word education, financial trading content, whatever you want to call it, literally overlapping when you guys started. So pandemic to present day, you just have a whole lot of people that are trying to do whatever they can to amplify their own exposure and message. And anytime there's any hint of trouble or drama, just it's like chum in the water for the sharks.
Yeah, they need drama on, and I'm not going to sit here and call out names or bash people, but when we came out, I think I mentioned this, when we came out with these rule enforcements, and I did those 4.5 hours of video showing this is just a scheme. This is a gimmick that only works by taking advantage of prop funds. This would never work in live trading. This is nothing real. Some of these influencers trying to build YouTube channels or whatever got busted because everyone following them realized they're not teaching me any real skill. They're just teaching me how to work this system. This doesn't do anything for me in a live trading. And now Apex just cracked down on it and I can't do it anymore. There's some influencers that went crazy with it, turning it, twisting the situation into Apex is the scammer. Apex is the scammer.
Yeah.
Trying to save their reputation.
Deflection.
It's deflection.
It's become quite
a
popular communication method in our modern time.
Now, again, we're not blameless in this. We handled it wrong. We communicated it wrong. We could have done so much better. Could have done a better job over the summer explaining some of this, but instead people just went crazy with it of this is happening, and delays, and then, they're out of money, they're going out of business. And then our competitors, the competitors ate this up and ran with it. And spreading it everywhere that Apex must be having trouble. They can't keep up with, because the competitors hadn't been able to touch us on anything for years. What are they going to do? Attack us about our payouts when we've paid out more than any of the competitors combined ever? They like to talk crap about our rules, and Apex has terrible rules and terrible guidelines, and that trailing stop, we have the highest pass rate of any of y'all. And our program has created more payouts to traders than any of y'all. And even during the summer, our most terrible time, the darkest time at Apex, the worst time at Apex, those 3 months of just June, July, and August at $30-something million of payouts a month, at our worst time, just those 3 months of summer, we paid out more than every other futures funding company in the industry in their whole entire life. at our lowest point. But that's got to say something. I'm sorry. You talked about opinions earlier. You can have opinions about Apex sucks. Their rules sucks. Trading this way sucks. Someone else is better. Okay. You can say 2 plus 2, you think 2 plus 2 equals 5. It's your right to have your opinion, but it doesn't mean you're right. Let's stick with facts, and let's stick with stats, and let's stick with numbers. And people bought into, again, I said from the beginning, and transparent of what happened, what our problems were, and we were going to work through to fix it. If you have eyes and can read and see, you've seen what's going on for the last month here with payouts. And I didn't say it was coming. I didn't announce it. I didn't promise. Again, we did a poor job of communication, but I wanted to focus on action over words. And we did it. Like, we said what happened. We said we were going to fix it and work on it. We did. We actually terminated some staff. We actually changed some management structure. We doubled our staff. We put systems in place. We put new monitoring systems in place, which are going to speed up payouts. Always before somebody sends in a payout request, that's when we look into it. And hey, let's check this person's history in trading. And can we prove that? Delays it. That holds it up. We have a complete other department that's going to do that now. What have you been seeing over the last few weeks, or even yesterday? People freaking out because yesterday was the first, like a new payout period. People going, I submitted, and in 20 minutes, my request was approved. And then it went out that night, and somehow I got the money in my account the next damn morning. How does that happen? Because it's a whole new system set up that I promised and said was coming. People didn't want to believe it. They wanted to believe these other voices out there telling them, oh, this is happening and that's happening and Apex is doing this, and come over here to us and we'll give you all this and this. And it all fell through. These companies aren't keeping their promises and keeping their words. There's companies out there talking about how be on track with them. They're so fast. They're 24 days behind on even approving payout requests. Apex is approving them and getting money in your bank in 24 hours. Stop falling for the newest shiny thing and believing all the random stuff out there. We told you what the issue was, told you we would fix it. We did, because we had a lot to make up for. So anyway, that's just the whole story. It kept compounding and compounding on us. And it just took time. We handled it not well. Got caught with our pants down. We've put a lot of things in place, put a lot of systems in place that took longer than I thought, but they're here. We kept our word on working on that. You're seeing the fruits of it. There's more coming. There's going to be some announcements over the next couple of weeks about some of those program changes we talked about. I want to keep payouts quick and fast. I want to make them even faster.
Well, I don't know how much faster you can get than what you just described and what has been verified by some members of my trading community already.
Yeah, and
I think we covered that in a good amount of detail, but since I think this might be one of the first interviews you might have ever done since you've been on Apex, I just want to pick your brain on just taking it maybe out of the minutia where we've been talking a little bit at the details that were required and very helpful, and maybe just take it up a notch to just in general. Let's talk a little bit about your thoughts on the prop model as you guys have defined it. I call this like the Apex effect. You did to the industry what Robinhood did to the brokerage industry, right? Which is disrupt it. All the big guys had to bring their fees down, and let's call it what it is. Top Step is a better program today because of you guys. It's a better program because of you guys. They did it their way, but they brought down costs. They added some more accounts. They improved technology, and they had to as a competitive reaction. But that being said, do you believe that this current model, the one that you have staffed up for and are going to maintain, at least for now, with 1 day to pass or unlimited accounts or up to 20 accounts, is like a reflection truly of finding trading talent? And how do you balance what you've created without walking it back or disrupting the apple cart entirely? But how do we get closer to actually helping the most amount of people get access to capital while also ensuring that it's a true test of skill?
Yeah. No, that's a very good question. And that's I've had a lot of conversations about this and a lot of thought about this, and it's a double-edged sword. There's two sides to it, because you get accused of this, of how come you make it so cheap and so easy and so quick, and we can get 20 accounts and do all this, but then you expect us to be disciplined. Okay, is that a valid argument? I can understand it, but as soon as I change any rule or try to crack down on a rule or make something more strict, we get lashback as well, right? Of, hey, just because somebody's doing something they shouldn't, and you want to cut down on that, and what? No more 20 accounts, only 10? Or, hey, instead of these cheaper prices, you're going to raise them and put a lot of people out of the market. Like I said, we get it all the time. You see it all over social media. Hey, thank you for that 80% off sale. Like, I'm struggling, or I'm a single mom, or I'm working 2 jobs. I want to do something to be able to work from home, or do something that keeps me closer to the kids, and do something flexible. And I wouldn't be able to afford it, having to go pay, whatever. So where's that fine line between that? Yeah, we came in, disrupted everything. So a couple of ways to look at that. It's a fine line. I don't have the complete answer to that, Rod.
Yeah.
Because I can argue both sides of it all day long. And I think that let's just cut all BS, right? Let's just get rid of all the BS. Let's just be totally transparent here. The issue is this: you make it so cheap, and you offer this, and are you encouraging people to gamble? Are you creating the casino for them? How are you? Or I think I think a part of your question was, in the current model, how are you able to spot talent if it's so easy, or if they can do this, or if they can do that, right? Part of that is, what's an evaluation? It's a test, right? Do you guys remember a few months back, I ran a sale, and I put the 150K and the 250K and the 300K all down at the same price as the 150. You remember this? And I said, I literally stopped my promo announcement and said, guys, listen to me. Stop. Listen to me. You know where I'm going with this.
Yeah. I was on vacation and created a video about it, my own version, which is don't buy these unless.
And I said, look, these big accounts, I know a lot of y'all don't buy them because they're so expensive. But they give you a much bigger drawdown, a much bigger trailing stop. Because look, here's a big part of the problem is people don't have the right tool for the right job. They come in and buy a 50K account, but they're trend trading with all these big contracts, and they blow it, and they blow it, and they blow it. Oh, Apex sucks. The trailing stop sucks. You can't use one of those on a big trend trading strategy. It's not what it's for. I mean, you're not going to fit a family of 7 in your 2-seat sports car. Go buy a van. But I said, look, I want you to be able to try them out for you trend traders to see if they're better for you. You stop blowing accounts. You can use this properly. Yes, they let you do 27 contracts. Should you do 27 contracts? And I said, no, just because you can doesn't mean should. Do not use, like I said this, right? Like I said it. Just because my car speedometer goes to 160, should I do it? No, there's a speed limit.
And what I had pointed out is that you positioned it that way, which is fair, but also for that additional buying power, if you will, or risk or drawdown, the profit objective to risk gets way out of whack. So they're really also only appropriate, not only for some people to maybe try some other things, you could flip this the other way too, which is even gamble more, right? Or have more room to break rules or whatever. But yeah, a lot of this, John, I think is about trying to react and be proactive and offer things and do what any business should do, which is test stuff, test different things. How can we, drive revenue? You're not an effing charity, right? You're not a charity. But I'll let you finish where you were going with that whole thing. But I just wanted to point out that I was amazed because I made this 4-minute video. I spelled that whole thing out, and all it was comment after comment. Now they're just encouraging people to gamble even more. The risk reward on these things sucks. and then all of the same snowball effect of everything we're discussing.
Even though I specifically said,
I know
you
it
got
doesn't
all these
matter.
options at the same price. It's
Yep.
up to you which one you need. Figure it out. Meaning, what is your strategy or system? Are you a scalper or are you a trend trader? Okay. With your strategy or system, I'm sure you've back tested it. Because if you haven't back tested it to know, then you don't have a system to know where does my stop need to be? What's my average profit if I follow these rules? Okay, what's your stop need to be? How much room do you need? Pick the right account that gives you the drawdown you need. Otherwise, you're just wasting your time. Now, so where I'm going with this is, because you mentioned, is this a good test of spotting talent? How does your current model spot who's good or who's bad, or who's actually trying to trade versus who's good?
And also, John, not to interrupt, do you care? Do you guys really care? Do you care if you find good trading talent, or if the same numbers hold, which is maybe 3 to 5% of people use it as a business opportunity, take advantage of it properly, and you can change some lives, but the rest of the people are going to do what they're going to do?
So 2 questions there. Yes,
Yeah.
we care. And this is a whole other topic, but we're going to all have to start caring a lot more soon. You're going to see a lot of big changes in this industry over the next months, but definitely over the next year with regulation coming. Moving people are so stuck on staying in a prop fund live sim account and not being moved to live. That was never the point of this industry. You get evaluated, you can pass this one part, then you go into the sim part, which is really a whole other test of discipline, consistency, and mentality. Now that you're can make money,
Funded. Yeah.
And then you handle it and you go to live.
Yep.
That's how this industry is supposed to work. That's how all of these prop funds should work. No prop fund, no prop company can maintain long-term by paying people out of $16 fees to trade successfully in a simulated account. At some point, traders that can prove they can trade need to go into live. So it's live money being created and split with the trader and the prop firm. That's how it works. That's the ultimate goal of all. The whole reason you go for trader funding should be that, to qualify, pass, get to live. But that's where a lot of it's changed. It's all, the whole reason I go there is to get the quickest payout real quick. Anyway, part of regulation, and it's already here. It's not coming, it's here. And it's starting with the CME, and they're already digging into it. And they want to know that is this industry helping and actually promoting the futures market and bringing more traders to the live futures market, more liquidity to the live futures market, or not? And if a prop fund doesn't have the actual path to live, they're not going to be getting approved with these big data providers anymore. Also, the CME doesn't want to see, they want to see that this is creating people to move into live. It also wants to see that they're not taking people from live, out of live, and back to demo. There's going to be some big shakeups here. And if people aren't doing this right, like all these, most of these firms you see out there won't be here in a year. It's going to be a different landscape. It has to be done. So yes, we do care. Yes, we're going to have to all start caring more.
Yeah.
And with some of those things coming and those regulations coming, they're going to set a lot of this stuff at some point to be standard across the board and even playing ground, right? Okay, we want X amount of minimum time in an evaluation that has specific rules, very clear rules, and then has to come in. There's going to be
what about if we put a 3-part questionnaire before someone can even buy an account from Apex? Question number 1: what is the CM? I bet you 80% of your customers don't know what the answer to number 1 question. By the way, that's the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, where all of the data and the regulated products that you trade in the futures industry. How about number 2? What is the initial and maintenance margin for one S&P E-mini contract? Just take a guess. Just try to guess. Is it $50? Is it $300? Is it $500? Is it maybe $12,000? And then question number 3, you know where I'm going with this, right? Is that real quick back to what you were talking about before. I've looked at a lot of analogies with where the industry is currently. And I think the one that I came up with that you might not like, but I just want to share it with the group, and I've heard it mentioned other places, is carnival game. Okay. So a carnival game, as you go, let's just pick one. I don't know. You try to throw the softball into the round tin thing, right? And it's
Mhm.
really hard to do. And you're like, I should be able to do this. I'm just throwing, and it bounces right back out. But once you figure out the skill of maybe knocking it off the side or bouncing it first, which is allowed, you can win this big ass prize.
Yeah.
And once you develop the skills, you can get this big ass prize almost every time for a teeny bit of money, because you're not continuously giving this guy money because you already know how to do it. Right.
Yeah.
Now, I know that's not an analogy that you or many people that are in the business, but if you guys think of it that way, I think there's a positive spin to this, which is skill development is what trading is all about. And if you focus on your skill development, and skill development starts only with risk management, and learn how to manage risk appropriately, no matter what Apex does, no matter what the CME does, no matter what anything that happens in the future, you could do that with your own small live account to start, which you can grow,
Mhm.
or you can have success in Apex and other places and make hay while the sun shines, because rules will change. And I don't think it'll ever get actually any better than this. If it's not you that's going to potentially change some of these policies, they might come from outside. Finish that analogy. Throw the ball properly into the thing, get as many big old stuffed animals as you can while you can, because at some point, either the prize will be smaller or the amount of times you can try to get that ball in the bucket is going to change.
Yes, absolutely. And I don't think I actually answered the real question you asked, but it's a fine line. It's like the easier you make it and the more affordable you make it so that everyone has an opportunity. Are you making it too easy just to be like, it's so cheap, I'll just buy another one if I blow it. I'm not going to try or put in real. Hey, Apex, maybe if you made these things cost twice as much or 3 times as much, people would actually treat them more seriously. Okay, there's some truth to that. But I also just cut out so many. I just also cut down the opportunity to so many people that can't afford it.
Yep.
So where's the fine line? But there's another way of looking at it. And this may sound cruel or it may sound something, but it's just like I said, what I released on that video. Here's these. Do not do this. Be careful for this. Don't do it. Here you go. How many people run and do what I said not do versus, and these people come over here. Okay. What are we talking about here? What did I just run a 80% off on? Evaluations. What's another word for an evaluation? A test.
Yep.
You throw something out there and you show different paths. Where do people go? That's a test of itself. I used this analogy the other day for someone. I think this makes a lot of sense. Think back in the old days. Think about King Arthur, right? It's festival day at King Arthur land. And they got those things called the gauntlets. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Where there's the swinging swords and the swinging axes, and you got to get through that obstacle thing.
Right.
And you see it on TV, and they got these guys all up there, and they just fast as they can, just run head first into this damn swinging gauntlet.
Because there's water down below in the American Ninja Warrior. Right? You just get knocked into the water.
And they fall off. And get up again, and let's just do it again, and fall off. And it's like watching a Monty Python movie, right? Okay, stop. But then you've got Lancelot over there, who's taking it a little slower. He's been watching the whole thing. He gets up there. He's watching. He's timing how this one swings, making his plan to, okay, when it swings, I'm going to step in, and then I got to wait for this one to go, and I got to do quick 2 steps, stop back and wait. He didn't get right. He didn't rush through it. It took him a little bit longer, and he got through it the first time. So at the end of the day, when you've got those 2 people sitting there and King Arthur wants to knight one of you to be his new protector, which one do you think he's going to do? Oh, King Arthur should have set better rules and said, oh, you have to do it within this much time, or you can't do it within this much. He said, here it is. How are you going to do it?
Yep.
And that is exactly like taking an Apex evaluation. And that's exactly to do with people that want to complain about the trailing stop. The trailing drawdown is super easy to beat if you just stop, like Lancelot did for the gauntlet, look at it, think about it, saying, this is a test, this is an evaluation, how do I pass it? Because that's the whole point. I'm being tested. Okay. This trailing stop follows me with my whatever, and I can't let it come too far against me. What is it there for? To see if I can actually protect profits along the way and lock them in and manage that. Okay, fine. So I can't just throw a whole thing out there and just let it go against me and just take a little bit of time and do it right, pass the test, I'm done. Or here's an evaluation. I'm going to go all in max contracts. Bam, hit a brick wall, just like getting knocked off that gauntlet. Let me just do it and do it again. Who's doing it right? There's your test. There's your, you just asked, how do we find people with potential and skill set and talent? By limiting people and tell them they have to do it only this way or the only amount of time, or saying, here's options. What are you going to take? And how that kind of sorts itself out says a lot.
Yeah.
You know, how many people are going in and getting the $300,000 accounts times 20, maxing out contracts and blowing? You want to know who some of our most profitable traders are consistently ongoing? Is the people that buy those, like the 25K accounts or the 100K statics, and can only trade 2 contracts.
Right. Yeah.
Times 20.
Yep.
That's the whole point. The whole point of allowing 20 accounts is not so that you can go in, max contracts on all of them. And the whole point of allowing 20 is to help traders get through their first 90 days. That's where this originated from. I don't know if I've ever explained that to you.
Because they do churn a certain amount of them and that type of thing.
No, yes, but no.
Yes.
This is more from a mentality thing. This started back in our trading education group. Okay. You know this better than anyone. Don't take my word for it. Go to Google. The retail day trading industry is what's called a triple 90 business. 90% of new day traders will lose 90% of their money in their first 90 days. That's just a stat of someone going and opening an account with a broker. We all know that, right? So you're choosing to get into an industry, a field of day trading that has a 90% failing rate. If you're getting into day trading, you're choosing to get into that. So what should your very first priority be?
Real quick, it's higher than that, but
it is higher.
Over a cohort of time. It's even, you're just saying within 90 days. It gets even worse if you stretch it out further. Yeah.
It does. Yeah.
Yeah.
So knowing that you're actively getting involved into an industry that has a 90% fail rate, what should your first priority be? To get that first payout as soon as possible. Fast payout. Why do you think they're failing? Why do you think they're blowing their accounts? Why do you think they fail in those first 90 days? Bad risk management, not protecting their profits like the trailing stop makes you do, not having a cushion in the account, greed, speed, and not taking time. Your first priority should be to not be a statistic. Your first priority should be, how do I get to day 91? That's my first step as a trader. That's what you should be doing. Now, what makes it so hard to do that? It's not sexy and not glamorous to trade micros. Does that sound exciting to anyone? No. People want, and you draw that out, and so if you do this, and then you double your contracts, and then you double your contracts, hey, at the end of the year, you're making 6 figures. That should be great for anyone, right? Doctors, lawyers spend how many years in school and six-figure student loan debt to make what they make. Can you just take it easy for the first 90 days? But most people can't, because I don't want to make just 50 bucks a day and then in a few weeks when I can double it, make 100 bucks a day. I want to make all this. And then they risk too much and they blow it. Right, Rod? This, you see it all the time. So what was the point? And also, let's say you start off with a $20,000 account and you get that account up to 200,000. What does that mean? Oh, instead of only doing 3 trades a day, 3 wins a day, now I should do 10 or 15 because I've got a bigger account? No. What does it mean? You still stick to that, but you do more contracts, right? You compound your contracts. You agree with that, Rod?
Yeah, it's the greatest business in the world. You give yourself a raise without hiring any more employees or changing anything else. The other thing that makes trading the greatest business you could ever be in when it comes to competitive sport is that it's Madison Square Garden from the very beginning. If you can make it here, the competition doesn't get any harder.
Yeah.
The sim and live feeds are very similar, not exact. That's another reason we need to get more people into live trading so they know what the margin is in real trading and they understand how fills really work. But yeah, I 100% agree. What other business can you possibly scale without having to add additional employees or infrastructure or anything else? You just change a number on a trading platform.
Yeah. And that was one of the hardest things that we dealt with, trying to teach people that patience to get through that first 90 days. Start with just that one contract and then work up to 2. But it wasn't exciting enough. But that was the key to success. Start with that. Stop when you're up those 3. Just give it time. But no one wanted to take the time to do that. So where was our answer to help them? 20 accounts through the funded with a trade copier. Say, okay, look, you still need to start this way. 1 account, get the 10 ticks, make 50 bucks, do it 3 times a day, 150 bucks, that's it. And then in a month, you can change it. But now if we set up this way, you actually get to do that 150 bucks times 20. So in your mind, you are making some of that bigger money, and that helps you with not being impatient. But in your actual account, the actual plan you're doing is still sticking with that smaller plan. That's where the whole 20 accounts ever came from before Apex Trader Funding even ever existed. When we were trading with another funding company, was to help that right there, the 90-day plan. That's the point of it. That's how it should be done. That's why it's there.
Yeah, we call it
used.
Yeah, we call it acorns to oak trees, which is use the leverage provided by multiple accounts, not the leverage that's provided, the over leverage that's provided per account.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Some of these amount of contracts that we let you trade, it's too much. You don't need those right away. You might need them later. Or if you want to trade micros, you don't want to be limited. You want to be able to scale.
Yeah, you want the ratio to be correct. And you guys fixed that. You were one of the first ones to do that, by the way.
We were one of the first ones to allow the same equal amount when it comes to the micros. So I don't know if this is getting close to answering your question, because I don't think there's an answer there. Is if you take it to one extreme or the other, you cut a group out. And when you say, hey, we're going to make this the best opportunity available, the most affordable opportunity available for anyone, and it sorts itself out based on which direction people go. Are you going to use this the right way, or do you misuse it? And then these people over here use it the right way. They're slow. They're disciplined. Again, are you the knight that's just hit the gauntlet? Are you Lancelot that takes a minute, sees and understands the test, gets through it? That's the guy I want to talk to about Let's Move to Live.
And I think ultimately, if a lot of, and I don't know if you have any more insight than I do. I get asked all the time. I used to be regulated. I used to be a member of the NFA and all these things. It could come from anywhere. It could come from the NFA, from the CME, from the CFTC, from an outside source. But when and if changes come, I honestly think that the evaluation criteria will not really be as critical. If people don't do that, they'll really never survive in their live accounts for very long anyway. And and they'll even catch on to this. Hey, this is futile. If I behave differently in this stage than I do in this stage, then I call it toxic behavior. And I know there's a lot of people think they can game the system and leapfrog, and I'll do this in the evaluation in one day just to get through. Then I'm going to change my methodology. I'm sure your data shows that's not really the case. They act as reckless in their PA accounts as they do in their evaluation accounts. I agree. I think we covered a lot of good ground there. If we could, I just wanted to get back to a couple more specific things. I took us away from the specifics for a little bit. I just want to get into some of them. These people that have been put on probation, I know this is probably a small group of people, but maybe can you just address like probation for a moment, or whatever that was or means, and why it came about, and what people who are in that status can expect?
Sure. I can talk about probation in general, or I didn't know if there was a specific, because there's different reasons that people might be put on a probation status. And that was something we talked about back in May and June with the Apex community. And when we put out the polls about, look, how do we do this? Make the rules harder for everyone or easy for everyone? And when someone's breaking a rule, we got to say, hey, probation is there to address particular issues if certain rules are not followed. And probation is not a forever thing. There's some things that are, it's like, hey, a 10-day thing. Just look, you're not following the rules. You can't be doing this. So you're on probation status. So look, just show us 10 days of trading that you can do this the right way, and then we're good. That's it. Like,
is there any specific rule that is more prominent that would put someone in this status, or not really?
It's a couple of different things. The DCA, for example, it's one of them. You know how much that came out back in May and how much that's been a big point of discussion. People are still doing it all day long. And it's a thing we deal with all the time. And yes,
pretty egregiously. So almost using essentially most of their account balance to try to catch a top or a bottom, probably with minis as well, and just
correct.
And YOLOing.
Yeah, that's all it is. And that's something we have to deal with all the time still. And now, according to our agreements, the PA contract and all that, it makes it clear, look, if you're doing this, you can forfeit the whole account and we just close it. You know what? I haven't done that yet. And maybe I should, because I keep telling people, we get accused of being, and I get accused of being such a, I think, what was it? They called me Hitler. I was a Hitler.
Oh, that's, it
was Hitler.
Yeah.
All of these people that were doing DCA, all these people that had even built up big balances that they shouldn't even be entitled to because it wasn't even real trading. I didn't take that away from anyone. You remember, I put it all out there. People shared the email. I said, look, trade for 10 more days with an actual real system with some rules that doesn't involve just this massive ongoing all-in DCA. Show me you can actually trade about at that same level. We'll call it a day. Let's move on. You can keep the money even. I'm not even going to take all that money away out of your simulation. It was simulation money, but even money. I'm not even going to take that simulated profit away if you could show me you can actually trade. Now, what happened? About half the people were able to do that. Great. The others just gave up, closed their account because they had no other way of trading except that. All they knew how to do was just YOLO and blow, and it was a windfall. And that was the point.
We had burn one, earn one. Now we have YOLO and blow.
Yeah. They didn't even try because they knew better.
Yeah.
Most of the time, it's that. It's, okay, look, guys, you can't be doing this DCA like this. You're on a 10-day probation thing, meaning, we got to see this, or else then we might have to take some action, or we might have to, limit the amount of accounts you can have, or whatever it may be. Or it might be like, hey, you're on a 10-day probation. During that 10 days, we don't want you to be buying a bunch of more accounts and blowing them. We're not going to be able to approve a payout request until we can see that you can actually trade according to the rules, not just try to blow and go money and go. That's it. Like it's people freak out about this probation. What is Apex pulling now? They're just trying to find ways to not pay me. They're just trying. It's very simple. You follow these rules and you get paid out. If there's a problem, I could have just shut you down or taken all the money out. I haven't done that. I'm giving people a chance. That's normally what probation is. So it can either be for, like, let's say it could be DCA, or it could be that whole burn one to earn one of, you went one way you went long in this account, shorten that. You can't do that. You can't do that. We've told you before. And normally there's a warning first. Hey, you can't do this. Hey, we approved this payout, but we won't be able to approve another one if you do this again. But then they do it again.
And I would imagine it also has to be pretty egregious. I know you have new systems and new data and new risk management tools and things that are data driven and not all require human interaction, which is fantastic. We didn't really even talk about, you mentioned it, but traders.
Yeah.
It's got to be pretty egregious for this to bubble up to this level. It just has to be at the scale of their business. Like, I used to tell people, and they didn't believe me, I had an Apex accounts from the very beginning, like from September of 2021. I think in the entire time I've ever been a client, I might have sent one email into support. I was like never caught up in any of this because we just went about our merry business and just did what we did. Now, yes, in the time period that John's discussing, some people in our group, our community that were using these tools, we felt the right way, and we were. Some people were exposed to a little bit of this, but it wasn't too terrible. I almost hate that I even have to ask about probation because I'm almost 100% confident, especially at this time, you've weathered the storm, that almost every one of these people is guilty of something. They are. The nets have been pulled in a little bit, but I asked some people.
But there's times that guilt is just they didn't know. It's not always.
I know, yeah,
it's not always bad.
I understand. But after they've been warned or things, and it's still happening, then I think it's amazing that you guys are tolerating a lot of this. To be honest with you, when I started at Merrill Lynch, way back in 1993, there was a really senior broker there, and I went out to lunch with him. And here was the one piece of advice he gave me. His name is John Eby. He said, listen, you think the best day is going to be the day that you get your first $1 million account. And that'll be fantastic. It'll feel really good. But your best day will be, as a broker, will be when you can fire your first $1 million account. When you have earned the right to just do business with who you want to do business with. And everybody, Apex has policies. Every company has policies. You see it when you walk into a McDonald's. No shirt, no service. The fact that they haven't, and this is me speaking. I'm not trying to defend you or anybody else here. This is me speaking. If I was on the inside, I would handle things a lot differently. And half of you people would have been kicked to the curb. So that's just my little aside, because in my little teeny world of just reading through some Facebook comments and other comments, I'm like, oh my goodness, I wouldn't tolerate this for 5 minutes. But
look, we're never going to keep
very gracious, I think, but that's my opinion.
We're never going to keep everyone happy.
Yeah.
Everything we do upsets someone. Everything we do, there's someone that thinks it's a conspiracy theory. It doesn't matter what we do. And that means I don't care. It just means, look, Apex we have to be Apex and say, here's us. Here's our rules. And people are like, why do you have to have rules? We should be able to do whatever we want. If you want to do what you want, do it with your own account. If you want to go through our valuation and funding and potential live funding, then we have a set of rules, a way that we put risk parameters on how we want our money traded. You can't come in knowing these are the rules. I understand the rules. The rules are clear. The rules are upfront. They're right there. I sign a contract saying I'll agree to the rules. And I understand if I don't follow the rules, I won't get paid. I get it. So I'm going to sign up, completely break the rules. And then when there's a consequence, I'm going to yell and kick and scream.
Yeah. All right. We've covered a lot of ground here, and I really appreciate your time. And we never even paused this whole recording. So this is straight through everybody. And I ain't going to do many, if any, edits. We're just going to let it run because this was a very raw, real conversation. But I'm a big fan of this guy named Eckhart Tolle, who talks about the power of now. Like, everything was in the past.
Yes.
And we've gone over the past quite a bit. And we talked about the apex effect. And what you have done, in my opinion, again, very positively for the entire industry, is grow this industry. Your success is a result. A lot of your competitors are a result of your success. Right. So going forward, what do you want Apex to be known for? What, if any, that lessons learned kind of thing? Not what you could have done differently, but just what's the future hold? And what do you want people to know about the future?
Been a lot of work we've done over the last few months, and a lot of new systems, a lot of new building, and that's all leading up to things, which, well, I'll call it Apex 3.0. I only say that because I used 2.0 a couple of years ago or with our current system, but we learned a lot over the last few months. And like I said, I take full responsibility, and I apologize to those of you that were affected by it. We could handle things so much better. And I put a lot of time over these last few months into making sure that this doesn't happen again. We don't get blindsided by something we weren't expecting. We have put systems in place. We've put departments in place. We're working on a complete compliance department, a legal department. We've got 7 people just on our IT team, our tech team, to stay at the front of cutting edge. We came in, disrupted it, and now we've brought this whole wave of people behind us, right, Rod? I think that's where you're going with that, is there's this whole wave coming after us that we brought up, as it were.
Yeah.
So how do we stay ahead? How do we be Apex and stay at the apex of the industry when now there's all these people coming? Again, we learned a lot, prepared a lot, grew a lot. I can't even tell you the things that we've planned ahead for. We have to just keep being better, and we have to maintain that level of being the innovator, the leader, and the best. Okay, have we had the best reputation over the last few months at Apex? We have not. Have we had the greatest PR? We have not. Before that, yeah, we did. Everyone knew we were the biggest. Everyone knew we were the best. Everyone knew we were the most reliable, that you could count on, we were the ones winning the Benzinga Awards. We were the ones on the shows and the interviews, and everybody knew that. For a while there, Apex, we've not been at the apex. We've not been operating at the apex level, but we're back, and our customer service has gone from taking 5 days to respond and not respond well to now same day professional, friendly responses, quality assurance teams. Boom. We've seen what happens with Payout. Boom. There's a lot more coming down, and there's going to be, even just this next week, some new announcements. This isn't my official announcement on your interview, but this Payout.
I was told I get at least a week or 2 of exclusivity with this video. So if you can give a scoop, that's even better. Before I do the shameless plug, and everyone in the comments accuses me of just being a shill for every prop program, but hit us with it if you got it.
I'm not saying that I'm not going to corporately release some of these updates for a week.
No, I know that. I just meant that this video, at least, our conversation is exclusive.
Absolutely. Yeah. So look, I have a whole team and new systems involved, new monitors involved. We're getting some software. I'd actually love to talk to you about it. That's used by prop firms, hedge funds, that analyzes things I didn't even know we needed. We can spot problems right away when somebody's veering off course or not quite following the program, and deal with them up front, not after they've submitted a payout request. What's the one thing people hate, and that Apex gets, or anyone gets, the worst reputation on? Denied payouts.
Yeah, not in this industry. Yes,
that's it. In this industry, denied payouts means either one of two things. With a non-reputable company, it means they don't have the money. They're trying to find a reason not to pay you. That's the fear, and they're going to go out of business. Just like everybody got spread about us. That's why no one, like all of us, BS. If I'm going out of business, I don't have any money. How the hell am I paying you next day now, quicker than anyone else?
Yeah.
And paid out $30 million last month, more than anyone else has in a year. Stop buying into people's crap and just think for yourself. Or there's rules. The rules were broken, so you're not going to pay out. That's simple. Where it's frustrating is that you've been breaking these rules, and then when you go decide to request a payout, somebody then looks at it and says, crap, I really would have liked to known before. Because not every rule breaker is doing it as a scam or a scheme or a problem. They just didn't realize it. So we have a complete team in place now, and that's finishing up being in place along with this new system that can run all these numbers every day and give us a report. Here's the people you need to look into. Here's the people you need to check into. Here's what they've done. They might be break. We can get this out right away, get this dealt with right away, get people on track right away. If we're seeing it over and over again, we can get them on track or on a probation if it's needed right then. Not, oh, you submitted a payout request. Now we're going to dig into you and, oh, you're denied. Oh, probation. Because that just gets spread all over. Oh, they're just purposely not trying to pay me. That's not it. We just never were looking at them until then because there's 100,000 of them. We had to put the systems in place. So we have that in place. So then what happens when you request a payout? Okay, they're clear. There's no flags from compliance team. They've traded the right amount of days. They've got the right amount of balance in there. Checklist, check, approve. Check, approve. How do you think we're doing what we're doing that you see all online all day? Oh my God, I requested like 30 minutes ago and they've already approved it. And it went out that night and I got it the next morning. Wow, I just requested and got approved an hour later. Because we're not having to do so much investigation. It's already being done pre. This is a quick checklist. Yep, boom. Yep, boom.
Real quick, also, and I don't want to get off topic too much, but I mean, we could talk for hours, and at some point, I know both of us probably have to go take a piss or whatever. But the thing, I mentioned the Apex effect. I just want to quickly do a real quick history thing. Like, Apex was one of the first ones to not fail your evaluation for this nonsense of holding a contract. They automatically close everybody out. You guys have done so much good things that you don't get credit for. And I know we're focused mostly, because I agree, everyone's about the payout phase. But how about the fact that there are still a lot of firms out there that if there's one open order left open, you even fail your evaluation. If you have a resting order during a news event, you fail your evaluation. I granted they warn you about that, but there's that. How about that you get your subscription renewed? You get your account renewed for free if you just allow your subscription renew. That was huge. I'll take a little credit for that because I put that in the industry. But those things are huge. So we're focused on this last part of the process and the journey. But I don't want to turn this into a love fest. I'm just speaking my truth here too, which is the industry owes a lot to some of the things that you did that everyone else that were the best for. I mean, the reason so many people pass is because you removed almost all the ways to fail.
Yeah.
The number one question I got, I decided to not ask you because I'm just tired of it. Is end of day better? Why don't they offer end of day? This is what at some point you have to choose some freaking rule. So don't address end of day. I don't even want to address it. Is it different? Is it potentially? You can address it if you want, but I'm just like, we're so down here in the weeds, folks. And your firm has done a lot to help a lot of people. That's why there's so many payouts to even begin with, or people that can qualify for a payout. So anyway, I just wanted to say my little piece there because we didn't touch on some of that during the conversation.
No, I appreciate that. And that's, again, like I said earlier, when we say buy traders, wouldn't this be a company that was made by traders for traders and literally make it easier for traders and pay the most to traders? That's what we really wanted. It sounds like some BS line, but just look at it. That's what we're doing. And we did it on purpose because honestly, we were a little pissed off. Daryl and I were a little pissed off when we tried to go looked at these other funding companies, trying to find one of them to help out our group of traders. And we realized that most of them were just crap. There was no way to even pass them. There was no opportunity there. And it was a big thing to us to make this as efficient as we could and as easy and simple as we could, and a real actual opportunity. And again, no matter what anybody wants to say, and yes, even though we had some struggles, Apex has paid out to traders more payouts than all of the other firms combined just in the last few months, more than all of their years in business. There's something there. And that is my answer right there to your other question is Apex sucks and end of day is better. Oh, okay. A lot of these other companies have, most all of them have end of day, and all of them combined in their years of business haven't paid out combined what we paid out in the last 3 months. When the pass rate's higher and the profit rate's higher and the payout's higher, how are you going to tell me something is better?
There's going to be a lot of people. There'll be a lot of people in the comments that'll tell you how it's better. But
and it might be better.
The end of day snuck in there. I promise I got this whole list of questions from all these people, and I'm like, I don't want to talk about any of that. This is just nonsense. You answered it the way I would have too. Yeah. Which model is working better? Which firm is paying out more people? Which firm has weathered this storm and has not even kicked out a lot of people that I would have kicked out?
But here's the real reality of it, real quick.
Yeah.
And I
want to switch to our final thoughts thing. Why don't we make this our final thoughts? I'm going to put it up on the screen. Final thoughts.
There we go. Final thoughts are from my end. Look, I'm going to say this, and there's really no way to say it nicely. I am so tired of the BS on social media. It's lies. Like just last week, all this big, look, Apex denying these big payouts from this poor lady, and oh my God. No one would believe what we were saying about it. And what happened a day or two later? Ox and all these other people, right after I cut treasuries, here's what was going on. This whole scam ring running all of these scams with the bonds. And she was one of them, just like we said.
Yep.
And why did we send video requests there? And why do they not? And who do you think has been throwing the biggest ass fit, spreading it on social media about the BS of our videos? The ones that know if I have to video this, getting fake fills that aren't even there, I'm screwed. Like all of this.
We could talk for it. We didn't even get into Rhythmic hacks. There were people hacking Rhythmic to remove everything. Just flat out hacking Rhythmic.
Yeah.
So their entire account balance was fraudulent.
It's just, I'm tired of the lies that I have to deal with on social media. I'm tired of these. And here's the biggest thing that irks me, Rod. I don't understand people's fear or their sense of how they make decisions. And these people, and I say this with love in my heart and concern, a lot of these people need to get out of the trading world today and not be involved in something that requires analytics, decision-making, or statistics. If that's the way you make decisions, I don't want to give you my money to trade. What do I mean by that? The Apex website, or all over social media, Apex paid out $30 million in the month of September. Over 12,000 individual payouts approved and paid. 12,000. But yet you see 3 people on social media claim Apex denied me and won't pay me, and I never broke any rule. And they say, oh, we got to freak out about this. They claim they never broke a rule, and Apex didn't pay him. Is Apex a scam? Rules are there for a reason. People break them. So why do you freak out when you see that somebody didn't get paid out? But your decision-making process is 12,000 over here got paid out. 3 got denied. I look at that going, those 3 broke the rules, or maybe one of those 3 is a scammer. These people look at it as 12,000 got paid out, 3 got denied, Apex is a scam. Somebody please explain that to me. If that's how you analyze things, please do not trade. Is that the strategy you're going to choose that has a chance of winning 3 out of 12,000 times? Please don't trade my money. Please, for your own sake. Like, I don't understand that. But look, with some of the new stuff coming out, it's taken a while to get here, because where's the fine line between having too many rules that just confine and constrict people, right? Like our DCA rule right now is doing to your group. And I don't like it, because I see it. There's a valid place for DCA done. Problem was how it was done wrong. I'll be bringing it back. You'll be able to do it as long as it's done right. Okay. So I don't want too strict rules that confine people, but I can't also make just open to everyone, go out and do crazy, because then we're get hit with bad stuff. I think I finally have figured out the medium ground that makes this work. And I'm really excited about it, because it's going to streamline so many things on the front end and back end and for the traders. But it's also going to be very clear, defined, known rules that are not interpretable on Apex's side or the trader side. There's nothing open for interpretation. There's nothing open for, like, it either is or it isn't, period. Because that's where stuff gets weird, right? Or stuff gets, what, last time I thought it was different. None of that. It's going to be very clear. And it's going to be very clear. You do these things, you're going to get paid. You got denied, it was either because of A, B, or C. That's it. You know
and
it.
I don't know what any of those.
Anyone you show your chart to will know it. So go whine on social media saying, I got denied and I didn't break any. Show your chart and everyone will know Apex screwed you. They should have paid you. Or they'll say, it's right there, one of the three things. Like, no more of this crap, because it's all lies. No one gets denied from Apex for no reason. They all get denied for a reason. And when they're denied, an email goes out and tells them that reason. Like, but it's going to be very simple to where you just post it online why you got denied, show your chart, and anyone with Apex can point out, because of that, you only get denied for A, B, or C. B is right there. You don't need an Apex staffer to tell you. Everyone knows. Like, I want it that clear, and the bullshit's gone. The lies are gone. The people being able to manipulate and twist things about Apex is gone. There's no confusion. There should be no confusion here. And I'm really excited about what we got coming out. Streamline it, make it clear, give traders a real opportunity. But again, if you get in your car and you drive to Burger King and you walk into Burger King and go to the counter and say, I'd like a Big Mac meal and a Happy Meal. And they say, yes, sir, you're at Burger King. You don't have that. If you want that, you need to go to McDonald's. Apex is Apex. Apex is going to be the best at what they do. Apex is going to have a great program. And the Apex program has already paid out more than anyone else combined. But that's our program. If it's not what you're looking for and you need something different, no problem. Go there. But don't go to Burger King and they get mad when they won't give you a Big Mac. You know what I mean? But what we have is going to be great. It's going to create great opportunities for people who want to make it affordable to everyone, make it an opportunity for everyone, pay out people fast, clear, simple rules for those, and quick payouts for those that follow the rules. But we are Apex trader funding, not Apex windfall funding. We are what we are, and we're going to try to be the best at it and always improve and do more. So
great. Thanks so much, John. And on a personal note, I just wanted to end with the fact that we talk from time to time, and I know that this business is taking a personal toll on you in terms of your health and how much you're working and all these things and how much you really care. I've already mentioned that I wouldn't have put up with half the shit that you guys have put up with.
You get on to me all the time about not sleeping.
I want to thank you, and also, as I've even said on the phone multiple times, it's all about balance, dude. And don't let this stuff, I can even see you get emotional about this. Don't let this all come down on you. In fact, take it out on me, folks. Put all the shit, say the futures fanatic and this guy, Rod Casilli, is a complete idiot. You can put all that in the comments down below. As long as you use my code TDG or Fanatic. I think it's TDG Fanatic or whatever. Just use my code. I add value. There you go. Now I've turned into a salesman. But no, honestly, we've talked about all the things that Apex as a business has done, but your commitment to getting through this summer, because I was pretty close. A lot of the stuff got exposed here, but only parts of it. It was far worse. And there's a lot of people that just would have gone, you know what? It was a good run and we made some money and F this. But you didn't, and you stuck it out. And not only that, you're looking forward. So I just want to thank you on behalf of my little community. And again, I always say my group now has plenty of choice because of you. So just like you said, if you don't like any parts of Apex or whatever, at least thank Apex for the fact that you have all this other choice now, because it's because of them. You can go to any other firm, of which half of them won't even exist in a year, but you can go to any of them. Yep. And they're there because of Apex, and Apex is here because of John. So thanks, John.
Thank you. I really appreciate that and your time.
Thanks, everybody.